Well guys, it's Saturday 25th April, an easy day to remember because it's my birthday. I got the camera out this morning to carry on some footage of what is part 4, only to find I'd over-recorded footage I'd done the last few weeks. So I'm starting all over again. So to summarise the last few weeks, I've finished the quarantining of my barn fish, my kahakus and the sankey, a few weeks ago, having took them through 3 courses of M&F. And they're looking great. They're in the grow-on pond. What I need to do now is bring in a couple of more fish. Well, I don't want to retreat the ones that are already in there, so I need to move some fish about, which I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks when I collect the barn fish. I'm going to the barn tomorrow, catching up with a few of the lads, looking at the Hirasawa, Showa and Kajaku we bought on our Japan trip back in end of Jan, early Feb. And as I say, I'll try and manage that along with a couple of other fish, bringing them here in a couple of weeks. And you know, when I say quarantine, I've covered it before. This time last year I made a major error, which is well documented on that video, which was around March, April for those interested, whereby I mistreated the fish for flukes, which they had when I should have been treating for white spot, which is much more dangerous. Won't cover that again, won't labour that, but for anyone interested, look back on those videos. So anyway, in summary, tomorrow down at the barn, catching up with a couple of the lads, looking at a couple of the fish and a couple of others that others have purchased, and over the coming weeks moving some fish about, and probably, I would imagine, looking at the fish down in the main pond, they'll be spawning in about 4 weeks time, I guess, always subject to ambient temperatures and the weather and so forth, but you know, that's always an exciting time for me. And between now and then I'll have done a bit of fishing, a bit more koi nerding, and cover it all best I can. Yeah, we're down at the barn now Sunday morning. The light's so poor it's not really worth doing a lot of filming, and this is probably coming across a bit odd in colour because I've got the UV filter on, but the polarising filter on. But what we're going to do is we're going to bowl a fish for Gavin. Gav, you asked me to look at this fish. We're going to stick it in a bowl. This is one of the sakais that come in 6 weeks or so ago. So yeah, and in fact, rumour has it, Gav, it's only the boys just saying that you were thinking about this fish even before it was born. So it's now, I don't know, this size. So yeah, that's quite quick for you, Gav. Let's have a look at it. Oh, you want it? Yeah, unlucky, Gav. Yeah, it's only taken 2 years. Took you 2 minutes, didn't it, Lou? Yeah. How would you critique that, Liz?
Oh, blimey, on the spot there, is it?
Yeah.
How old is it? Okay. Cool.
It was in this eye, Keith. I think it was this eye. Yeah, this eye.
It's got a nice body to it. This all gets a bit predictable after a while, doesn't it? Everyone says the same thing. Nice body, high backbone, all the rest of it.
We'll say something different now.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something different.
Yeah.
I mean, Sherode is nice. Benny? I don't know. A little bit unsure.
Why are you unsure?
It looks a bit... See some white between the scales? Is that
down there?
Is that because it's been growing, or is that a sign that it's a bit weaker coming forward? I don't know. That's where I'm a bit inexperienced here, basically.
So you're suggesting here, then, as the fish turns,
yeah,
the scales are quite light?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if that's through growth or that might be a trait with the bloodline. So I don't really know enough about it, to be honest, but...
So James, how would you critique that fish?
I think it's a lovely fish. Benny's very nice. Sumi's come through quite a lot since it's come in. Needs some more Sumi to come through here. Around here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, very nice.
But you say Sumi, you're referring to the pattern, are you? That it needs more Pattern.
Once we'd established it had the body, then we was looking at that.
I was fishing now, I was going to hook you, wasn't I?
into that
You're
one.
too quick, weren't you? Too quick.
into that.
Yeah, I thought you can't be judging this fish on pattern.
No.
But yeah, Benny's really good on it, boys, isn't it? Very, very good Benny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great fish.
Yeah, very pretty face that.
I'm assuming it's come through a lot since here. It's coming in different areas.
What's it about? Is that about 70 cm, is it, Pete?
No, not that big.
In the high 60s, yeah.
Top end of 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was Japan one, looks like. It's shocking.
There's another one here that's had a lot of interest in it.
Yeah, very good. What about that one, the Tony one? Is that sold now?
No, that's really good as well.
That's nice. Yeah,
Right, you just turned up, bought me a donut, really appreciate
Not
that.
a donut, that's a pastry.
Pastry, right? So you just turned up, I've seen a fish here
Yeah,
that looks better here than when I saw it in Japan.
I know. Who bought it?
No, no one's bought it yet, it's in a bowl, right? It's the shower. How would you critique this shower?
Throw it back in the pond. No. We had it, funny enough, we had it in the bowl yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Go on.
We had it in the bowl for quite a while yesterday, but we bought I say we, the person I was with bought a lovely fish yesterday.
Who bought what?
I can't, it's all undercover at the moment.
No, nothing's undercover on this video. I'll edit it out. You can trust me.
This is the first time ever I'm not allowed to edit it. I can't even tell you what happened. It was so exciting. Best fish in the pond.
What, in here?
But
Is it
wa-
still in here?
It's still in here.
Right, so come on then. Who bought it?
Number 44. I can't tell you who bought it though.
But do we know the person?
Oh, do you?
Go on, now tell us and I'll... Go on, I'm not filming now.
No,
Who is it?
no, I can't.
No, I'm not filming now.
I've sworn to secrecy. Even Keith won't tell you.
No secrets on this video. Yeah, well, how would you critique that shower?
Truthfully, Kev, it's the nicest shower in this place. Other than a couple of little Benny issues here and a couple of little. It's unusual. It's the nicest shower in the pond, but just got to see how it turns out.
Would you buy it?
Oh, now you're talking. You're talking about Mr. Not a shower fan anyway.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll just say to Keith, if I saw that looking like that in Japan, I'd have bought that. Seriously, I would have.
You would have. Third, you'd have been on it.
Yeah, I'd have been on it.
Yeah.
But it was so stressed,
Yeah.
and now seeing it...
Got no worries.
looking so good.
Les is buying it, so we ain't got to worry.
Les is on it.
Les is on
I
it.
ain't got no space, mate.
We had that in the bowl, you see, no? £1,600 note.
Well, guys, 7th of May 2015, and it's election day. But much more important than that is I'm sending off some water samples of the main pond. So in summary, what that means is I'm interested to know, along with one of the lads, and probably a lot of people watching this, my water as it comes out the tap to be tested, and my water after it's gone through my purification. So there's 2 samples going off. Takes about 2 weeks to get the results back. Once I get the results back, you then have to interpret them as to what's in the water and what's out of the water once it's gone through the purification, all of that lark. So we'll document this closely. I'm doing it because I obviously want to know what's in my water coming in, and I obviously want to know that the pre-filters, the purification, is working and taking out if I've got metals and stuff and things that you don't really want. Then is the pre-filters or purification working, and if it's not working, what do we need to add to it to ensure I'm treating that water as best I can before it goes into the pond. I think that makes sense, but anyway, let's get on with it. So what we've got is we've got one box with about 6 bottles in that we've got to fill up. So right now that's we're filling them up with the water after my purification. So that water would be going straight in the pond, having come from the tap, through the big blue, through these 3 new cartridges with various media in, and then, as I say, into the into the pond. And then this box is identical over here, again with several bottles in that we're going to fill up with water as it comes out of my tap. Yeah, in fact these are more than just empty bottles. We're noticing as you fill up some of the bottles they've already got various solutions in. Yeah, so these are marked up in different ways, and some of them, as I say, have got liquid in, clear and coloured liquid, so we're just topping them up with water. Yeah, so I've got a record of it. Ellis 1 is the water that's come out after my purifiers. So we're now filling the second box of bottles with water straight from the main. Well, filled those bottles, and it's just as well we've got some intelligent guys in the gang, because I can't even fill in the form that has to go back with them bottles, let alone understand the report when I get it back. So yeah, there you go. But anyway, they're going off now. Courier picks them up and should have the results in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, long before that, tomorrow Roy and a few of the boys are up to move some fish about and bring some fish up for me, and I'll be fishing end of next week for a week. For those interested, I'm off to Marpêche, which is Madex's lake in France. Cover that separately in my videos like I normally do. But yeah, tomorrow a bit of excitement, moving some koi about. So yesterday, boys, here we are, familiar faces. Yesterday I was filming the bottling of all the water to go off for testing.
It's going to be interesting.
So when you're watching this, Gav, it's very interesting.
Oh, he's got the best filter.
Gav might even turn up this afternoon. You never know.
Gav won't be
Did Ryan call you?
I didn't speak to him.
Oh right, yeah, because he said he might have been around. But anyway, so today
His target's looking nice.
It is it?
Very nice.
Right. We're gonna net the fish here, take them down, have a look at them down there.
We're on it.
Make sense?
Yeah, we're on it.
And you're gonna put the GoPro on your head.
GoPro me.
Right.
I see what you mean by guiding it, Kev.
Yeah, you have to guide it.
Just buckle that up, Joe. That's it, nice, mate. That's lovely. Just a bit more, Joe. I've got to just...
That is impressive.
Perfect, Joe. Perfect. It'll be as big as the...
So what we'll do, boys, we'll have a closer look at this down there in the big bowl. So what we do now is put that fish in the bag, take it straight down there, and we put it in the in the big bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't make it too heavy, down half heavy that fish.
Show me about it.
You want it?
Yeah, we're on it.
So you're grabbing that. Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
No, we're off. On our travels.
Right, Joe, if you come down ahead of them.
Pull it apart a little bit further.
Can't, because the water.
You want to put the big bowl in the water, Joe?
You're down here already,
Yeah. So that's the biggest of the fish, obviously. Yeah. So you recognise this one. Joe, you named this the Hulk, didn't
That's
you?
it, yeah, definitely looks like the Hulk. Big fish, isn't it?
Split its tail a bit. There you go. Just get it in the action.
Just stick it in
Then
there.
we'll be able to see how
So
big
you
it
stick it, Joe, this way, and the fish swims out this side.
I don't want to turn around, do we?
Can't. Okay. Turn it around, Roy, with your hand. And do it on the camera. Get it, yeah?
Benny looks lovely, doesn't it? Yep.
There she goes.
Into the deep.
You're
17 and a half.
Nah, you're rotter than that. Sorry. No way.
About 20, 22.
Nah, it ain't that. Can't be.
You've got to
Yeah, I've got some on now. Yeah.
get it. There's 20 odd.
Right, let's get this in the thing, guys.
20 odd.
And we'll have a look at this down there.
This one. Nowhere near as heavy as the last one.
You don't think?
That second bag, I don't need two bags, I know I've got two in there. I've made a bit of a pull there. Not good enough for you boys, but good enough for me. That fish.
Then the soup is lovely.
Show, you get some joy and cooking.
Right, Joe, stick her in.
Could have done you a bit of work on it, check before it went in.
Yeah.
When the temperature's above 20, Roy, I would do that after they've spawned.
That last one won't help.
Keep the bag stretched out. Yep, go on.
Oh, I like this one. She's lovely. Oh, she's bleeding a little bit.
You bleeding?
A little bit.
No.
It's lovely on that one, isn't she? Very, very nice.
High 60s, I would say.
I'm in the window.
Yeah, you come around this side and there, take it.
Got it.
Here's it.
That may have caught something, don't they?
Yeah, I would.
Right, Joe, stick her back. In you go.
That's a great bit of fun there, too. Fantastic bit of play. Well on
That is lovely.
Yeah,
I suppose it's the harder water.
yeah, could well be, yeah. Does he run our own, Mike?
That's a TDS of 1500, if you like it.
I think Mike does run our road.
Does he?
I think.
Is he an advocate of it?
And quite
Or are you
rightly so
confusing
too.
Mike with Chip? Because, yeah, it's easy to confuse the two.
Well, Chip's his baby. We like Chip.
We're coming out.
Right, yeah, stick her out. Nice shape for the fish as well, isn't it, for Shiro?
It is nice, Kev.
Yeah.
If I'm truthful, you hit that, Kev.
So Martin Pidd, if you're watching this, buddy, thank you very much for this fish. Well pleased with it. And you, Mike.
So what? Yeah, cheers, Joe. I finish this one here. Finish Mike turn anything. She's gone, with that fish.
Are you going to get one?
F. It's raining.
Yeah, right. Yeah, stick her back, Joe.
That's easy, easy. I'm going to have a look at that. I like that fish. Sure you don't want to put it back in the bag, Kev? I don't mind taking that one home. Kev, you don't want to go. You must come home with me, look.
It wants a bit of RO water. That's what it wants.
I don't want to go and with Kev.
Oh, come on.
I want to go with Roy.
There it comes.
Oh.
Is the bag in the bowl properly? Get the bag right in the bowl, guys.
It's in there, but we can't get
Put it right over. Yeah? Right, make sure them don't go in the bloody thing, because they eat them. Yeah, I like that. Grab it, got it?
Good man.
Right.
Hey, good man. Bang, I like that. That's the quality of the bang.
So I'm not going to measure it, but I guess it's about 71, boys, you reckon?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'll follow that, Kev.
Yeah. Right, so Roy, if you lift that up and put it in and keep the water in this bowl. And I'll come there, Joe.
Go on. Come on.
And in fact, Roy, I'll do it, come this side, and then you lift it towards me, yeah? So just put it straight in, yeah?
When I say Joe, just tilt that when I lift it. Just put the old bowl down, yeah?
Right. Yeah, nice one, Roy, well done.
Perfection.
Yeah.
See that?
Right, now we need to bowl that water out of there through the window. So this is Easter. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, well done, Roy. Go on. We can let it go now.
Recording Kevin now, doing the work. We're all standing around.
No video, you go.
So this fish is probably one I thought most about with all the Japan purchases of late. This is the Kajaku that I've searched high and low for a long while. People have sold me fish only to find they've been sold to others. People have told me they're good and they ain't been good. Tony, when you're watching this, took you half hour. Come and have a look at this, Roy. You can have the pleasure of putting it in the pond.
I'll put it in.
Yeah? You put it in the
I must
pond.
admit, beautiful
Yeah.
skin, Kev. Beautiful skin.
Yeah. Just got to hope the reticulation comes, time will tell. Yeah? No, I'm well chuffed with that.
Lovely, clean. I don't think there's much you can say wrong with
Clean
that, Kev.
fins, everything I wanted.
You can film it, Kev, when it's going in or not?
Yeah, you want to come this side, John? Come over here. You lift it this way, Roy. Yeah?
I think that reticulation will come up with our water, Kev.
There we go. Good on it. Yeah, superb. Well pleased with that. There we go.
Off you go.
Yeah. So this is a Sankey of Roy's that many of you will recognise, 90 cm, and we swapped it for a Kahaku. But Roy, the agreement is when you've got the Kahaku to 85, I have it back, isn't it?
85, yeah.
85, yeah.
If we can get it to 90, it's going to 90.
Oh, at 90 we have it
If we
back.
can get it to
We have it
85.
after 90, we have it back.
If it, and that there is not enough for a laugh, it's just a bit of a blood.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, don't worry.
Look at the skin though, Kev, still not at the age of it. You've got to think that's...
So you bought this, Roy, 2007 on your first trip from Matsunoski at Nissan.
Yeah,
So this was born 2005, so it's coming up 10 years old.
10 years old, yeah.
Yeah,
Still,
strong.
look at that skin. That's from Barn.
Mom.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, lovely.
Now, this ain't going to be easy.
Right, so you've got to lift that, Roy.
Yeah, this
I don't want the water going in, with due respect to you, go on. Whoa, well done, Roy.
She's in.
You're on it. Well done, Roy. You've done marvellous with that. Well done.
Yeah, we like that.
Fish are now going from the main pond up to the grow-on.
It's only on the edge, isn't it? It's only,
This is the third fish going up. This is the male tancho as part of my spawning programme. I bought that with you, Roy, I think late 2006 from Bones.
yeah.
Yeah? Bought a few of them from Gary, didn't we?
Tiny little fish.
Yeah.
Spot stayed well, Kev. That was really nice.
You can see it's male all day long. This is a Nakayama fish from Select. This is a Tamora Sankey I bought with Sai. Oh, it must be 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. Matsunoski parent.
Female or male?
Male, female.
Bit of work on its nose.
Yeah. This is the last one, boys. Tamora Sankey. Fish for Tamora.
Tomorrow.
Well, it's a couple of days since the boys were up and we moved those fish around. So in summary, and it all got a bit too busy, the rain started to come, I didn't capture it quite as well as I would have liked, but in summary, as I was saying, we took the Sakai fish from the quarantine down to the main pond, and then to make space down there, brought some fish from there up to the grow-on pond. And the idea of that being, I've now got the right distribution of males, and in probably the next couple of weeks, and I'm trying to slow it down by keeping the temperature down as best I can. In the next couple of weeks when I get back from fishing, those fish will almost certainly be ready to spawn, and we'll capture that as a yearly ritual that I normally do. In the meantime, the blanket weed is growing. It's unbelievable. I only noticed it at the beginning of the week. I probably should have treated it a couple of days ago, but the blanket weed in the main pond's a nightmare, so we're going to treat that with the cloverleaf blanket answer, because again, if you let that weed get too long, the fish will spawn in it, and I don't want that ideally, A, because I won't be here, and B, it's not as efficient as when you use brushes, and there's more chance of the fish damaging themselves, you know, rubbing against the wall and the floor. So anyway, we'll treat that, and this camera, koi related, will be back out in a couple of weeks once I've been to Marpesh fishing for a week, and then, as I say, fully expect those fish ready to be spawning. There's my Sakai fish from the trip earlier in the year. But anyway, you just see the blanket weed there now. And if I don't deal with that quickly, you know, the drums, they do struggle with blanket weed if you let it go mad. So yeah, gonna hit it now. The sun's not up. It's quite early Sunday morning, but the water's going green finally. Yeah, the point I've made before, I do like to run greenish water, and I've said it 1,000 times, not so green you may as well keep tench or you can't see them, but certainly not gin clear. And probably since about end of October right the way through, you know, not been able to get green water at all. It's starting to go green now, but right now I'm going to hit it with the clay-based cloverleaf, so we won't see the fish for the next couple of days, that's for sure. Yeah, just put that in, that'll circulate around the pond. But it goes without saying, guys, you know, make sure you've got a lot of air going into the pond. I would normally have another one over there, but I've loaned that to someone in my village. But yeah, there's air going in over there, obviously the showers. So when you make any treatments, be mindful of ensuring you've got plenty of that going in. Well, it's the bank holiday end of May, Sunday. Just got back from a week's fishing at Marpesh, Maddox's water in sort of northern France. So for any of the anglers who watch the koi, I'll be posting that probably at the start of my rainbow trip, which is not until the end of June. But anyway, yeah, koi related. So the camera's not been out for probably 2 weeks. I moved some fish about, as I think I covered. Today I was supposed to be down at the barn picking some toeside, a magnificent 7 as it was called, which were the fish we saw at Beppu, small kahakus, and like a sort of a grow and show competition amongst 7 of us. Unfortunately didn't work out this morning with Fox getting hold of my wife's chickens, and those bloody chickens, she loves them more than me, so it's been a bit of a somber morning, to be truthful. But after that this morning, the boys, a couple of them are going to pop in here, so we'll catch up with them on their way back from the barn, see what they've been up to this morning. One of them will have picked a fish for me, so yeah, we'll document those Beppu fish closely. In the meantime, fish are ready to spawn, I can see that. I was glad we didn't put the brushes in while I was away last week, but there's no question that yeah, they're, you know, getting ready now. So I'll be putting in the brushes today and fully expect those fish to be spawning in the next few days. Got to try and manage that because I'm away a lot, work related, and I'd like to be here when they spawn, but it is what it is, and yeah, just got to keep an eye on it. But as I say, we'll catch up with that in a little while, and catch up with the boys and see how they got on this morning at Koi Water Barn. A few of the boys have popped in on their way back from the barn, having entered the Beppu Tosai Kahaku competition, and Ben picked out number 1, so pressure's on him. We'll overlay the pictures. But Ben, just saying, pressure's on you then to win.
Yeah.
Number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And I would have picked from the pictures the prettiest one.
Yeah.
but you say it didn't have the right shape.
No.
So you picked on shape to get biggest.
No, I picked on pattern and yeah, the worst body shape I think. So.
Oh, is that what you picked?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh right. Oh, you ain't going to win then.
No,
Write
no,
you
no,
off.
no.
Oh,
Yeah. What about you, Les?
well, I went number 2, didn't I? Luckily.
Yeah.
I went for a bit of each. Nice pattern and hopefully a nice body. So yeah, I've got 2 years. We'll find out.
Pete, you?
Well, there's no pressure on me because I had the last but one. So, but no, to me it was on pattern.
Right.
It needs bulking out a bit on the body a bit, but
So the competition
I'm
is
pleased.
about whose is the biggest. Is that the competition?
no.
Overall
Best.
development.
Overall development. Oh right. God, that's fair. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Definitely will make the decision, I think, based on videos at the end of the 2 years, wasn't it?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Cool.
yeah.
Good. Well, anyway, boys, here's the fish, and just from some food. And as I say, these will probably spawn in the next few days. I see you're a fan of Coppin's foot. Saki Akari, what's the matter with you, you nutter? Ben. Oh, look, I can't really see it, but yeah, well done, yeah. Actually, that's a pretty little fish, that, isn't it? Yeah, nice pick. Is that his first pick, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like being at a goldfish fair, isn't it? Yeah, nice one, Ben. Yeah, good one. Yeah, 20 man, yeah.
You knock off 3 coconuts.
Yeah. Yeah, nice one.
I couldn't believe it when I picked the king, top card. Les picked the queen, and Ralph picked the jack.
Right.
So 1, 2, and 3.
And you picked
I
the
picked the
ace,
ace.
Yeah.
which was the ace's low.
well, no, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, got it, yeah. Oh well.
And we all had the same 1, 2, and 3. Me, Ralph, and Les.
Yeah.
So we discussed it the other night. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's a nice morning, lads. Shame I couldn't join you. Yeah, it sounds like a good shout.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Nice breakfast.
Well
Yeah.
organised as well.
Yeah, no, well done to Keith. Yeah, well done, Keith, and the barn. Yeah, good shout. Well, it's nice to catch up with the boys there. Sounds like they had a cracking morning down at the barn. So we're going to follow this Beppu competition closely. So there's 6 of us in it. And as I say, these fish are just a year old now. Quite small. They're probably sort of low 20 cm. But yeah, it'd be fun to document. And we actually saw those fish with Tony when I was at Beppu back in early Feb. Meanwhile, as I was saying earlier, I reckon it won't be long before these fish spawn, both ponds. So I've put the brushes in now, and year on year we document, nothing really changes, but it's always fun and interesting for me. I've covered before why I prefer to spawn my fish, so I won't labour that again, but as I say, and it also reminds me when I put these brushes in, just how quickly the years go by. But anyway, as I say, let's follow it, and both ponds are at 21 degrees now. Won't be long now before they start getting at it. Well, it's Tuesday morning, just got up, and true to form, fish are spawning in the grow-on pond, and they're usually the first fish to spawn. So we'll have a quick look at them. I think they might have been spawning since early because they've slowed down now, but the usual, lot of water, smell, lots of eggs, and yeah, always fun. They're still at it, in fact, I can hear them. Well, you know what, it's Friday 5th of June and I've got an hangover from hell, but I've had to get up early, like 8 o'clock. But what's cheered me up is the fish are spawning in the main pond. I went away for a few days last week, so I took the brushes out, probably interrupted them because they were so keen to spawn. Anyway, stuck them back in early in the week, and yeah, lo and behold, I doubt if it's all the fish spawning this morning, but you know what, at least they're spawning now and getting the eggs out. On some of the fish, they were really, really big, and yeah, so I was quite relieved this morning to see this going on. I won't cover it in great detail. I've covered it almost every year, I think, for the last 6-7 years. But you know what, it's an exciting thing for me, and it's an essential part of my koi keeping regime. Some people agree with it, some don't. I do it my way, to coin a phrase from Des O'Connor. So long and short of it is, this is probably they'll probably have to do this 2 or 3 more times before all the fish spawn, and they'll probably do that over the next week or so. There's the telltale foam signs. Don't know how well you can see it down there, but basically that's fish gorging on the eggs. Right, so I'm going to leave them to get on with it. We'll have a few more cups of tea and then a big fried breakfast. Well, it's deja vu because it's Saturday morning now, and yesterday the fish were spawning, probably about maybe 5 or 6 of them in the main pond. This morning they're really going for it, especially my chagoi, which was massive. You know, I don't know, if it was say 25 pound full of spawn, that fish will be about 18 pound now if you was an angler. But anyway, yeah, we'll have a quick look at them. Tomorrow I'm hoping to get down to the Crouch Valley show, catch up with the boys. And I was saying to some of the lads yesterday on the forum there that yeah, I've just been so busy with one thing and another, I haven't really had the time to do all the footage I want to do, especially the editing. But yeah, hopefully I can sort that out. The problem is work and fishing getting in the way. It's one of those things. But yeah, hopefully I can make amends in the next few weeks. But yeah, we'll have a brief look at these. And in fact, you know what, I could kick myself because I've loaned my GoPro camera to one of the buddies. And sitting there this morning just having a cup of tea looking at them fish, I wish I'd stuck the bloody camera in there and captured some of them fish, you know, releasing the eggs, especially that chag. But yeah, is what it is. But yeah, have a quick look, and then as I say, tomorrow I'm catching up with Posh in the morning, going to see what he's been. Oh look, they're really going for it. I'm catching up with Posh in the morning, then getting over to the show hopefully. That shower in the front there's about 82 cm, give you an idea. Anyway, we'll leave them to, I don't want to get too close because it just might interrupt them, so let them get on with spawning. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm also going to get my gear ready. I'm off to Rainbow in a few weeks, as well as having an holiday with the other half. So yeah, it's nice to have a Saturday at home chilling, if I'm truthful. So yeah, chill that day, and as I say, catch up with the boys tomorrow at the Crouch. Actually, before I put the camera away, this is the grow on where the fish spawned a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, all very back to normality. Rather overstocked in here, but yeah, here's what it is for the moment. But yeah, quick look at these. Yeah, it takes a few days to get the water parameters back after the spawning, but yeah, no big deal. Well, I've been endeavouring to conclude this part 4, I think it is, of my koi keeping year, but something keeps cropping up, and I'm up at Adam and Amanda's house. Adam, the koi keeper of the year, who breeds fish himself here, and I came here a year ago. It was a fascinating trip, and to come back here a year later and just see the progress Adam is making is astonishing. So we're going to catch up with him, see what he's been up to the year since I've been here last. He's had a lot of success as Adam, so it will be great. Not only that, he's hosting a barbecue for the Kangji Koi Club, so it'll be nice to meet some of his fellow members. But yeah, as I say, it's yeah, it's inspiring here, and yeah, just let's see what he's been doing. Yeah, so we'll catch up with Adam. That was a couple of cutaway shots. There's water here everywhere. Yeah, he's a real labour of love. He's like a mad professor of the koi world. But you know what? Full credit to him. Yeah, we came in here before his Gary as well. There's Ad. And this is where we visited last year. Adam will talk us through what he's been up to. He's trying to catch a particular fish. It's in this pond and it's green and you can't see it until it comes to the surface. And knowing Adam, we'll spend the next 5 hours trying to catch it. Got it?
Got it. Thank you, Got it. Oh, so
Do you know what? That look on your face, it's like it was Christmas. You was a kid and got your favourite present.
well, this has been the elusive Marutan. Right, hang on. We'll stick it in there. The elusive Marutan.
Right. So these fish, and Adam will talk us through it, these were the tiny fry I saw this time last year. So these fish in here are 12 months old. And as Gary said, you know, if someone had said to you these were from Japan, you wouldn't have known any different, genuinely. They really are that good.
Hang on, I just think I got it. We were trying to get that for a week.
Ed.
Hi.
Adam Byer, Koi Keeper of the Year. Totally deserved, absolutely justified. And to come here a year down the line and see what you've been up to is astonishing. But tell us what you've been up to since a year I was first here.
Crikey. So 1 year ago, in the ponds behind us, we had the first spawning. The hatchlings from that were out in the pond, and that was a successful spawning. We ended up harvesting about 22,000 fry at 1 inch long from that pond, and that was a kahaki spawning. Okay, from that point onwards, the rest of the summer was immensely challenging. Okay, turned out that I then conducted maybe 10 or 15 other spawnings. So that's in the way that you saw last time. So that's getting two males and a female, putting them together in a kind of a controlled tank with ropes and so forth, cleaning the ropes, cleaning the tank 15 times, and I didn't get any other spawnings that were anywhere near as successful as that. I had massive trouble last year. It was extremely hard work, and by the end of the summer, I was starting to get worried. I felt good that I had the what looked like a good spawning coming out of that, and in the end, it turns out in hindsight, I've got some nice fish from it. But I had like a last throw of the dice right at the end of the summer, and I spawned that female that produced the early spawning for me. I spawned her a second time. It was a tip from Mike Snaden. I wouldn't have thought to do it otherwise. He said, in Japan sometimes they use the same female later in the season. And I examined the female. I thought, there may be a few eggs there, and we gave it a go. Thank God I did. Right, that was a key decision last year, because I spawned her with a different set of males to the ones I used with her at the beginning of the summer, and we got 2,600 fry off that. The key thing there is, one, it was some fry, so it's another little bit of success, although quite frankly 2,600 for me, it's about a tenth or a ninth of what really I should be getting in a successful spawning. But nevertheless, it's enough to have a look at and have a bit of a play with and have a bit of fun, going through the selections and all that. And to see the differences between the fry in the two spawnings, the same female. So all of a sudden, so just to recap, after you left, the next couple of months was deeply challenging. Lots of things not working.
And what didn't work then, Ed?
Variety. There were a few aspects to it. Some females just wouldn't spawn, so for whatever reason, and I don't know what it was, they literally didn't spawn. They looked like they were ready. I examined them. They had eggs, but they just didn't spawn. So I tried them once. They wouldn't spawn after a couple of days, let's say. So then I put them back into their tanks, and then maybe try them again in a few weeks later. Each time I do that, there's they're cleaning the tanks, cleaning the brushes, all of that jazz. That was one reason they didn't spawn. Let me give you an example. I had 2 shower females last year. One didn't spawn, and I tried her 5 separate times. She was that good that I really wanted to spawn her. It was worth the effort, but it was a lot of effort. Then the other female, she spawned on the 5th time. I was literally in tears when she spawned because of the how much time I put into her. She spawned. She didn't spawn very well, and that's a classic example. I actually got the eggs out. There was a low fertilisation rate, but there was some fertilisation rate, and I think the eggs just failed on point of hatch. So females not spawning. That was one reason. When females did spawn, I didn't get fertilisation rates. Something going on with the males, they just didn't do the business for me last year. And then if I did get a fertilisation rate and did get some fertilised eggs, then I had problems on the hatch.
Is that all going on in here? All that spawning
So
in the polytunnel?
In the polytunnel,
right.
Yes.
So let's just let's have a look in there. Adam's just saying I did actually get a cutaway shot just as I arrived of some fry in here. This is what spawned in the last few weeks, is it?
Yes. They've already started to go to deeper water, but you can start to see some of them.
So we're capturing these before the light fades. But what you've got here is thousands, or what appears to be thousands of these kahaku, are they?
Correct.
Yeah, we can just maybe make them out. They're about a centimetre long, if that. Yeah. So once the eggs have, once the that's your polytunnel.
Yes.
Once the fish are tiny, the eggs have been fertilised, the fish hatch, boom, they come in here.
That's right. They stay in a 1 week, roughly, depending on temperature. They take about a week to develop to the kind of level of maturity that they're okay to be moved, and then they go into the ponds outside.
Right, yeah, got it. And there looks to be a lot of natural food in here.
Yeah.
Nice green water. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, green water. We'll talk about green water later on, Ed.
Yeah. I mean, there's earlier in the day when the sun was on it, there were literally clouds of the fish here. But at this time of day, the warm patches that they were basking in are sort of becoming cooler, and so they're going.
And how many parent spawnings are the fish in here from?
One.
Just one?
Yes.
So you got a male and a female kahaku?
Yes.
And will we get to see the parents?
Absolutely, no problem.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good. So, and this happened a few weeks ago?
Yeah, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so after a few days or a week, they're what, 5 millimetres or something big?
Grains of rice.
Yeah.
Size of grains of rice.
Yeah.
Bit thinner than a grain of rice.
Yeah.
It's like a grain of rice, but like half the thickness of a grain of rice.
Yeah, and they come in here.
Yes.
And the same happened last year, and look at the size of those fish in those vats now.
We'll see those soon.
Yeah, done extremely well.
Thank you, yeah.
Exciting. Yeah, exciting. And how many gallons is this, Adam? Do you know? Because it's about, what, a foot deep, is it?
It varies. It's there at the top end. It's maybe half a foot deep.
Yeah.
At the bottom end, it's about 2.5 feet deep. It's about 150,000 litres. So if we call that 160, it's probably about 30,000 gallons.
Right.
35,
Yeah. Got it.
40,000
Yeah.
gallons,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. And you've
Depending
got
on how
this
high
net
it is.
over to stop predators and things.
Yeah. So this is all from a biosecurity point of view. We've got the netting around the side to stop animals coming up to drink at the water's edge, and that's again limiting the spread of disease. The same with the netting over the top. You know, it limits the amount of other animals that can come into contact with the water.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's have a look inside.
Yeah, talking to Adam. I've had my hair cut today, by the way. Yeah, talking to Adam, he's very infectious, got to say. Yeah, and you can tell he's learned so much in this last year. You know, successes, failures, you know, it's all part of the learning curve, and he's been going through it. So Posh, when you're watching this, I was down at yours the weekend. It'd be great for you to get up here, and equally Adam to get down to you, because between the two of you, you know, you're both doing extremely well, as are others probably in the UK, you know, hobbyists. But yeah, I'm sure you can learn from each other, you boys. Yeah, inspiring gal, isn't it? How long have you been in the hobby, gal?
1978.
1978, so just reminiscing there about some of the earlier years and heyday of koi keeping. Yeah, when there was a lot of money around, and
Yeah.
you know, it's a different hobby to what it was now. We've been through a few recessions, filtration was different. I remember a friend of mine back in those days, 78 or something, you know, putting loads of gravel in a big tank and putting the water through it and wondering why his fish all died.
Canterbury Spa.
Yeah, everything going there, Ramonas at the bottom. Yeah, it's all changed from there, but all part of the learning
The
curve.
hobby's a lot further forward now, isn't it?
Yeah, and thanks to you guys and others, we've learned from
Well, I
that,
think
like a lot of hobbies.
Dealers started going to Japan, and that changed the hobby completely. Then you had the internet, You put those two things together, and there's more information readily available
Yeah.
to your average Joe. You didn't have to belong to a club or anything. Anyone could get the information.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
but there was a time when clubs and shows were round full of hobbyists and things.
But then that's because that's where the information was as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, and
You
now,
know,
you know,
the big BKKS shows finished in about '98. But, you know, same time as the internet started creeping in.
yeah, fair call. Yeah,
So
yeah.
people didn't have to come to shows.
Yeah, yeah. So go on then, Ad, what are we doing in here?
Yeah, so, well, we'll have a look at the tanks.
Yeah.
But we were just saying that that last throw of the dice at the end of last summer, spawning that female for the second time with a different set of males, made my year totally, because I could, my whole aim is to breed koi that I take shows and beat and win prizes with under competition. Okay, so that's my aim. Right. So to do that, I'm buying in brood fish and trying out different combinations to optimise combination. And that's how I'm going about trying to create a price. So being able to use the same female but with two different combinations of males in 1 year was like 2 years worth of
And we're
experience in 1
talking
year.
Gahakus here.
Yes.
So the success, you didn't have any success with Shara, Shiros or anything else?
Nothing else.
Just purely the Gahakus,
Yeah.
which is what we're seeing today.
That's it. That's it.
And are you trying to breed other types this year or still keeping with Gahaku?
Shiro and Showa, I still have them on my kind of radar. I have got some fish that I have tried to breed Shiro, and here's an but no. So I started with Shiro this year, but here's a classic example. I changed the way I actually run the spawning this year to because the last couple of years I've had the odd success, but I haven't had the payback, if you like, in terms of koi keeping enjoyment, if you like, from the amount of effort I put into the spawnings. You know, if you're doing, quite frankly, in any aspect of life, if you're doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working, well, it's not working.
Yeah,
You know,
weren't there a saying from Einstein about that? The definition of madness was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah, well, maybe I was too close to that. I may be still on the old, quite high on the madness scale, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Yeah.
I've changed things a little bit, but subtly, but significantly. And this year I ran 4 females. 2 of the spawnings went fantastic. One of them was Shiro spawning. Reared them to the sort of grain of rice type size. Put them outside into the pond. It was fully cycled, and I think I lost a lot in 2 weeks. But what I was able to do, now I'm in my 3rd year, I've got a little bit of experience. I'm still very inexperienced, but I'm gaining bits of experience. I identified it in week 3 that I'd lost the pond. So rather than waiting another 3 weeks before finding out I've lost the pond, I identified it in week 3, I emptied it, relined it, filled it again.
And why did you lose the fish, do you think, Adam?
Two most likely root causes. I think, and the reason I can say this is because I kept a sample of 70 and I put them somewhere else. Okay, right. I think that there weren't enough rotifers in the pond for them, and that's what they need in those first week, the first week or two, as food. I had cycled the pond and it had gone through the process and had reached the stage where I thought there was a good rotifer population. I think I either got that wrong or there was a good rotifer population and the rotifers died away very quickly, and then there was no food to fry. So that's possible. This evidence to help me support that is I put 70 of these fry and I put them in a tank which just has water that I'd left there for a year. Has Daphnia and so another natural pond environment, and those fish did fine. So a week or 2 after putting those 70 into that tank, they were already, instead of half a grain of rice size, they were like a grain of rice or 1.5 grains of rice. So they were growing, but the ones, sort of the tens of thousands that I put outside were not. So that's why I strongly suspect the root cause was lack of food.
Right.
At that time, it was in early May. The weather was awful. We had very high winds, and that wouldn't have helped. We had low temperatures and temperature swings. That wouldn't have helped. But both my sample tank and the large pond with all the fish in it went through all of those same environmental factors. Therefore, I sort of worked out. And in terms of another reason could be disease, but then all of the fish from the sample fish and the main batch all came from the same source. So if there was a disease, it would have happened in both places. So therefore, I think it was the root cause was lack of food.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So once I'd got those 2,600 from the second spawning and the 22,000 from the first spawning. I brought them in from outside at about 1 inch. They grew on in those growing on tanks just behind us. Okay, we looked at those last time you were here. It's about a 30,000 litre growing on system. It's heated, and the filtration has not changed since the last time you were here. Okay, and then 1 year later, literally, this is a selection of the best 15 or 20 of the koi that I produced.
So these are all 12 months old, is it?
That's correct. In fact, 3 of the fish in here are 13 months old and the others are 10.5 months old.
Right.
The largest one, for example, this one here, that one is about 46 or 47 centimetres, and that was spawned in May last year. We're now beginning of June, so that's 13 months. The stepping stones fish, that's one. So this 2-step, I think that's about 40, might be 38 or 39, also May last year. The other fish in here are between about 30 and 35. There's the odd one that might be just under, the smaller ones are a little bit under, but the majority of them are between 30 and 35, and they were spawned mid-July last year. So I've got to be honest with you, I am super chuffed because you know, you go about a home breeding project, and this for me this is a hobby. This is for fun. This is something that I helps balance off my life, so that after a stressful day, come out here, look at the fish, and I can sort of sleep. And my aim was the first aim was to produce kahakus that look like kahakus, so that if somebody came over, like yourself or my club mates, which are coming over soon tonight for our pond visit, you know, they go, oh, that is a kahaku. But I think, let's put it this way, what I've produced has exceeded that in terms of my expectations. And last weekend I went to the south of England koi show. It's the second one they had there, and I took a selection of my fish to the show. It's the first time I gave a run out to my July 14 spawned kahakus, and they did very well.
And we'll cover that in a little moment. And some of those fish are in here, are they? That you took to the show?
Yeah, so the fish that I took to the show, I took 10 fish to the show, kahakus and tanchos, some in size 1, 2 and 3. And 7 of them won a competitive prize, and 3 of them didn't. The 3 that didn't are in here. The 7 that won competitive prizes I've put in another show vat so that we can look at those.
Right, yeah, cool.
Separately.
Yeah. And you know what, Adam? The skin's very nice on these fish. And when you look at the darker Benny on some of these, would that mean they're male? Have you sort of experienced, you know, generally you tend to think that the prettier, darker Benny fish are male. Has that proved to be the case?
Yeah, so I'm yet to find out. Now, I do know that large one, that 46, 47 centimetre one, is male. I've managed to sex that. Last weekend, on the Friday, before the show, Amanda and I went through all the tanks and we went through all the fish. We did our sort of final toe-size selections, if you like. We picked the ones to go to the show. And I also tried to sex them. And I couldn't identify males out of them. Right. I know from the last time I handled the fish in April that one was a male. So
where are the parents for these fish?
I've got separate tanks for those.
Can we see them?
Absolutely.
Let's have a look. Do you know what? This is like a scene from, you know, that professor matey in Back to the Future. Yeah. You know, I see your credit ad. Don't take it the wrong way.
No.
Yeah. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like there's so much going on. It's like you're probably a genius and don't realise it. Have you ever thought of that? Yeah, maybe you have.
Well,
yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I'm glad there's a little step there for me.
Yeah,
what am I looking at? Oh, that Shiro is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, don't take too much of that. I can go to the show later on this year.
Is it? That is beautiful.
I spawned that fish. That's why it's so thin. That's a Samsung.
Yeah, that is a beautiful Shiro.
That's nasty. Amanda picked that one.
That is a super fish.
Thank you.
That is lovely. Yeah, so what am I looking at in here, Ed?
Right, these are the females. I've also got some of my tosan here, some of my larger ones that I didn't take to the show. So basically any fish that's big, that's a brood fish. Any fish that's a bit smaller, like that tancho over there,
yeah,
that is homegrown. That's from last year. That tancho is about 43. Apologies for the water.
So this fish is probably high 60s.
Yeah.
To give people a perspective of size in here. That Shiro over there is similarly sort of 68, would that be?
Yeah, around that
Yeah,
kind of size.
68 cm.
That's Chip's Tancho shower,
Oh, chips.
which is now almost zero. So this is what I'm going to do with that fish. The spot's been fading. It's going to fade completely. Then it's going to be an amazing Shiro, and I'm going to take it back to a show, and it's going to beat
As
him.
a Shiro.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. But
Yeah.
no, I'm hoping to spawn from it. That's why I bought it from him, in all seriousness.
Do you know what? Seriously though, that is one hell of a Shiro, That is a gorgeous fish, that.
Thank you,
Yeah. I'll tell you what, that is that good, Chip. That might give you a run for your money if you show yours and Adam shows his. Yeah, that's a serious fish. Yeah, nice to see that.
And look, that's my toe side down there.
Yeah.
Difficult to see.
But are you running green water? We might have touched on this beforehand. Are you running green water by design, or is it just a case of in a polytunnel, it is what it is?
The latter, really. But I would want to have some green water during the year. Yeah, absolutely. Let me put it this way. This water would be a lot greener right now if I didn't have the club coming tonight for a pond visit. So a few days ago, it was getting too green, and in the end, the fish love it, and I'm happy with it, as long as I can do health checks from time to time, because that's the one thing you need to be able to do, even with green water. But of course, I want my club members to see the fish, so I've been trying to clear it up, and I haven't fully succeeded, but just enough so they can see
But you're
it.
right, the fish do like it, and I think it benefits the fish. And you're right, you don't want it so green that as a hobbyist you may as well keep tench. I've said that 1,000 times. But certainly when I first come to the hobby, I strive for gin clear water. I soon learned that's not best for koi.
No.
But anyway, that's another subject for another day. Yeah, I keep coming back to that Shiro. So that's from Matsunoski.
That's correct. Amanda picked it.
He's not known for his Shiros, Matsunoski, is he?
He's most known for his Sankey, I believe.
Yeah,
I haven't
he is.
been out there.
I don't remember seeing Shiros at Matsunoski. I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you acquire that?
Amanda bought it a year and a half ago when she went to Japan.
Yeah, superb.
Yeah. So when I go through my selections, a lot of people ask, well, what do you do with your fish? So I don't cut a deformed fish when they're really small. We find the deformities, they're culled. Okay. Everything else, we choose not to cull. We prefer to find a new home for it. It goes on eBay. So I've got some little tanks here, and once we're ready to move them on, fish go in here, onto eBay.
Yeah, got it. And that helps fund, you know, what you're doing here must be costing a fair few quid.
It has.
Yeah, I bet it has.
It has.
So can I stand up here, Ad, little old me?
Yes, you can. So you can do one step and then two
One
steps.
step, two step, right, because I'm only 5'4" when it's warm. Right. So some parents are in here.
Yes. I'll try and pick a few out for you.
So what's the parents of the fish we've been looking at just now, the 35, 40 centimetre fish?
The big ones. That's the Haku there.
Yeah.
This is a new one. This Marutan's a new one that got in from Mume.
Yeah.
That's from Takigawa. I'm going to have a go with him this year.
Yeah.
So the one underneath my finger now, right at the bottom.
Yeah, got that.
That Marutan, that's from Matsui. Also from Mike, Yume.
And how will you, when you're buying these fish, are you looking for something specific in terms of what will make it a good parent fish, whether it's male or female? How do you decide?
I speak to Mike and I say, Mike, tell me. Basically, that's what I do. I've got to be honest. I mean, that's what I do. So I am using the advice of experienced other people who, I guess, my choice is choosing the people I seek advice from. So Mike is one of them. Mark Davis is another. In terms of sourcing in the UK and abroad, Alan Bennett is the other. They're my three trusted advisors, if you like. Present. But in terms of sourcing the fish, Mike.
Yeah.
And so I'll speak to Mike. We'll talk about roughly what it is that sort of a plan.
Yeah.
And a budget. He goes off and he finds what he thinks the best one, and that's it.
Yes, there's some very nice fish in here as future, parents that Adam's acquired.
That small three-step Kohaku, that's one of the parents of the Kohakus that I did. got some good results out
Right,
at the show last weekend.
Yeah.
So what I'm finding with the spawning is that I'm still still really early days. Yeah, so I mean, this calendar year is my year 3 of a 10-year plan. And my idea is that it'll take me 5 years to work out what to do in terms of spawning and rearing and trying out different combinations of males and females. And I'm hoping within the 5 years that I kind of work out 1 or maybe 2 good parent set combinations. I think with the results from last weekend, I think I might hit on one of them, one good combination. And then in years sort of 6 to 10, then I'll have my 1 or 2 or whatever, hopefully 3 parent set combinations. I can then start to move on some of the parent fish that I've spent money on that aren't part of those kind of optimal sets, and then just spawn with the optimized sets. But that's my approach. Okay. One of the questions a lot of people ask is well, you know, when you spawn a good fish, let's say like that male we looked at a minute ago, 46, 47 centimeters at 13 months old, you know, I'd struggle to go out and buy a fish like that, potentially, it's in that size, you know, and you know, maybe you'd want to keep that for spawning, people might ask, and you can create your own line and that kind of thing. But my approach is to buy the best I can from Japan, use a trusted advisor like Mike Snaden to find the best set of genetics I can afford, and then bring them home and optimise the combinations, and that's what I'm going to do. That is 46.
46 cm and 12 months old.
13.
13 months old.
13 months old.
Yeah.
That is 46 cm. Cool. This came from the Akawa female. All this broodfish that went into this I got from Mike. And you can see the males, and you can see the Matsuiness of the males that I used, I think, in this. Awesome. Only problem is it's male. But I'm not too unhappy because it's
Pretty.
It's okay. I can live with that. So we were saying, we're just about to run the charity auction here.
Yeah.
I've got a few toci that we're auctioning off for Chick Cancer Research.
But before
UK,
it gets too dark, we need to see your baby champion that you won with.
Absolutely.
Down
at the south of England koi show. So basically, I took 10 fish to the koi show. Okay, 7 of them won competitive prizes. My project objective was originally to win a competitive prize at koi show, and I won 7 in one go. It's just unbelievable. I'm still taking it in, including baby champion, and also I had another kahaku that was in the running for baby champion, and I did great in size 2 kahaku, first, second and third, and in size 3 kahaku, first and third. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I'm still taking it in.
Yeah, well done.
And a fantastic show as well, run by the club and friends of the club. So
all of these here, which is baby champion?
Baby champion is this one against the side here. Just underneath now. That's it. That's the baby champion.
Yeah.
And that is the baby champion, best of 80 fish in the show. That one.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Well done. And all these went to the show, did they, Adam?
These 7 are the 7 that won competitive prizes at the show. The 3 that didn't are in the other vat behind us that we looked at before. So, for example, that Tancho, that was in size 2. It came first out of 2 koi. Okay. The size 1, the little kahaku, that came second out of 7 koi. The Marutini looking one. Let's see it coming right under the bubbles, and third in line now, going under the bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay, that came second in size 2 kahaku. It came third in size 2 overall, irrespective of variety, and was in the running for baby champ, I believe. And it's just a whole swathe of kahaku results in those sizes.
Yeah, just superb.
I am still absorbing it. I think what it tells me is it was the right decision to run that second spawning last summer. Thanks for Mike Snaden for suggesting it was even possible. Thank God he did, and I did it. And I reared them, and this is what I've got, and I've won those awards. It's just incredible. And fortunately, I've run that same spawning a few weeks before this show, and the babies are outside. We got pictures of them earlier.
Yeah.
Massive harvest, hopefully in a few weeks. Touch wood if nothing goes wrong. And it'll be very interesting to see whether we get the same kind of keeper ratios as we had last year. And if I do, and I have 10 times as many quite exciting.
Yeah, no, it is.
So then it's about targeting, repeating the performance, trying to maintain and improve the quality, and then maybe trying to win a similar prize or place it, winning competitive prizes at larger shows. So this the South England show, sort of small, medium-sized show, fantastic show, open show, very well run and some good competition. And then, next will be, I'm going to the East of England show. I've got the All England show later on in the summer. So taking a little team out to those shows too this year.
Yeah, and to see these, as I say, and to see the progress, just discussing with Mark at Cuttlebrook, who's out there as well,
Yeah.
you've made great progress. And, year on year, you're hoping you'll do the same. But nature being what it is, we could be sitting here next year without wanting to sound negative, and all of a sudden it hasn't worked out. That is breeding coy, I guess.
It seems to be a lot of bad things can happen, and yes, that is right. And so that's, there is a lot to talk about. As I grow these on and try and create space for them, do I prioritise my space to the babies that are going to be coming through from the fly ponds outside, or to continue to grow these ones on? Like you say, if I don't get another spawning this good, then maybe I should just take these fish that are in these two show vats and grow them on. Maybe that's my best chance of show success in the future. I don't know. I'll work it out. Amanda's calling me to run this.
Amanda,
auction.
you're after him, aren't you? Let's go and do this auction, which you're doing for charity, guys. Well done. Yeah, and a great barbecue as well. Superb. Yeah, he's a proper mad scientist, but you know what? Full credit to him and Amanda. Yeah, it's a real conviction, labour of love. And it's great to see. Anyway, there's an auction going on now, and Ad and Amanda are kindly donating the money to one of their charities. So let's see who's buying what. But yeah, great.
And after so much hard-taken work and risk and just mixture of things going wrong and going right, then to actually produce something that looks like a kahaku and then to win those awards, it really is awesome. It's still sinking in. So, to celebrate, Amanda and I thought that we would select a few of our Tosai and run a charity auction, seeing as though you're all coming over. And we picked Cancer Research UK. It's a UK-based charity. It's raising money for them. They run research projects in the UK, which helps old people, young people, men, women. It covers everything. So I thought it would be a perfect charity to support. Now, the way this is going to work, and I have never done this before, so we shall see how it goes. But the general principle is, you will all bid for the fish. It will be a traditional kind of calling out style auction. So we will go up in money, and if you want to place a bid, put your hand up, and the highest bid wins. We will go through once.
Strangely enough, that's what you call an auction.
Okay. And right, the order of any questions? Any questions?
That was the auction.
All right, okay. Right, the first one we're going to auction is the three.
Okay.
The 3-step. Then we're going to move on to the tancho. Then we're going to move on to the
Big one.
big girl or boy. I haven't sexed it, Kevin. Unsexed.
Male. Definitely male.
And then we will end up on the that 4-step. 38 centimetres.
It's got you written all over it, I'm telling you.
Of tancho. There is only one tancho out of 22,000 fish from that spawning. I went through them all, one by one.
And it is a good tancho.
That was the only one with the nice round tancho spot on the head. And
What are you up to?
90.
Hang on.
90.
Oh,
90.
no, the daggers are too much in my back. My back's killing me. Take the knife out.
Right, do I hear 92?
Excuse me, mate.
Oh, someone's looking now.
That's got to be worth at least a couple of £100, that one.
£91.50.
Oh, that was a late shout.
You'll be very late soon.
Any advance on 95? Going.
Someone's got to make it tough, sure.
Going.
100.
I'm feeling it for you.
100 over there. I think. 100 over there.
Tosser.
No, toss on.
Oh, yeah, is that what it is? Sorry,
Okay, any advance on 100? Going. Going. Gone.
Well done.
Nice one.
Yeah, that's a great bit of fun, that, and you know, full credit to the club and the guys bidding and Adam. As I say, it's yeah, nice way to end the evening, that's for sure.
This is the old hemp ones, yeah.
Nice to see you out, Ben. Yeah, got an impromptu Saturday morning. Lee, Gav, me and Roy down at Roy's. Had a big breakfast, and now we're looking at some fish. And Gav, you're excited, aren't you? Not having been here before, or you, Lee? You ain't been here before, have you? Yeah,
Liz
so
up the road.
yeah. Anyway, always inspiring to see Roy's fish. Just got these on the GoPro as well, so we'll have a closer look at these underwater. And that's got to be approaching 95 centimetres, that chagoy. And the Sankey, the weed as Roy calls it, that's mid-80s I think. Roy, the weed's mid-80s, is it? 82, 83, yeah. Yeah, it's good Lee and Gav are able to catch up and see Roy's pond. Yeah, cracking morning, Saturday morning, it's what our hobby's about. So as I was saying earlier, I had breakfast. I'm down at Roy's regular, so you know I see the fish all the time, but they're, as usual, looking really good. He's certainly got the numbers down. I've probably not seen his setup with so few fish, but we'll catch Roy on camera briefly and yeah, see what he's been up to since the last time I was here. I swapped with Roy his big Sankeys at mine now, 90 cm, his Matsunoski Sankey bought in 2007 at Nisai, for a what was Nisai, might be Sansai now, Matsue Kahaku from Mike, on the proviso I'll get it back when he's got it to 80 cm. So anyway, we'll catch up with him.
Yeah, I'm well.
There's his other half. I'm doing an interview. You come here as well. Yeah, I wasn't joking. Buddy, just out to the camera. I'm down here often enough, get it on the camera often enough. But I was here, what, 8-10 weeks ago. What you been up to since then?
Nothing really major, Kev. It's pretty much all the excitement was with building that. That's rocking like you can't believe, I must admit, as a system. Really happy with it. Haven't touched it, as you can see. Fish are doing really well in it. Little tweaks. Drew came down the other day and played with a protein shower and got that working correctly because it was set up wrongly. It was set up too high. Come down and done that. Stainless Darren made us a chute over there so I can get across the back of the pond correctly. Apart from that, got a critter in the main pond up there. Flukes I've been trying to treat. That's about it in the koi front, really.
Is it my imagination, or is there less fish here than you've had for a long while?
I've just spread out, kept across the two ponds, really. I haven't moved much on. I'm trying to think if I moved anything on. One to you. Oh, of course, you've got the big Sankey.
Oh yeah, I've got
so that's
Sankey,
made a lot of room, kept that as.
Yeah.
Big Sankey's made a hell of a lot of room. Along with the shower you've got there. I think that's the only two fish to be gone, Kev.
Right.
Obviously when that was empty I had a few fish growing on in there for somebody else who's gone back.
It looks like you've got the numbers right now.
Yeah, there's pretty much 8 fish in each pond, Kev. That's where you need to keep it, really, you know.
Yeah, it's fair call.
So,
and what are you doing sort of temperature wise, feed wise?
If I'm that, for anybody, if you want to take any notice of what I say or what we say or whatever, if you're going to build a pond, the cost of eating is so much, as we all know, unless you know you're very fortunate. Copy that as far as fill the walls with the Kingspan, 3-4 inches of it. Do the bottom of the pond. It's sat there, 22 degrees. I'm having to have the window open and the door open on the nice days. The heater hasn't been on for 2 months. Free heat. The fish is great when you think what it's costing down that end at 21 degrees in a uncovered gas. Well, the bill down here, I know what my electric and gas bill are. Both ponds are very efficient electrically, but that round heating and I've got no demerits on that at all, Kev. I can't think of any.
So is the heat pump, the air source heat pump, supplemented with the electrical heater?
Yep.
Living up to expectations.
I can do what I want in there now, Kev. I couldn't at the beginning, as you know, so I put the extra electrical heater in there because I had that problem with the fish down in the main pond, and I would have liked to treat it in there, but I couldn't because I couldn't get the heat up in the winter. They just don't come on heaters. Right. Through the winter, it was great. I was running at 14 degrees, had a little heater trickling away, keeping the condensation down, and of course the air source heat pump would have been coming on as much as it was coming on. But since the weather's improved, unbelievable for the free heat. It's just great. It's a pleasure to come down there, and it will make me. I will change my winter regime around, where I will probably move a lot of the fish from the main pond into here.
Right, so what's your plans for the rest of the year then?
Not to change much really, Kev. Got a fish coming in from Drew, and a wee she was really pretty. Not much else to change.
Showing
at the show at the southeast. I must admit, I've got a big extension going to go on here, so hopefully that allows for the show at the southeast with me running a dinner dance this year for the club. I'll have quite a bit on my plate. I just hope I've got the time to mess around with the fish and get them conditioned ready, you know. So I will obviously, any fish that is going to go to the show, or from this pond, will be going into that pond. We'll be able to swap.
So from this being the quarantine, or the new one, into your original.
They'll be going down there to cool them down and get them prepared. So obviously you're not going to be able to do anything with that in the summer. That'd be mad.
Keep it well above 20.
That'd be mad temperatures, Kev. Yeah. That's that went up to 25. Hence why I now have to leave the door open. The door just stays. It's fluctuating about 1 degree.
Right. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Pretty much sticking 22 degrees continuously. If it goes any hotter, I'll just keep the door open all the time.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, it's looking good, Roy. And as you say, we all get critters, and sometimes they can be a pain. So you got flukes there, have you?
Yeah, got flukes that drive you mad. And I must admit, they seem to be harder to get rid of lately. I've done it twice now, and it's one fish in here from yourself, the present from yourself. That just, as soon as it's not happy, mucus is up, so I know straight away something's not right.
Yeah.
Obviously, first thing to do, check your water conditions. I normally always put a bit of dechlorinator in just to see if an instant improvement in case chlorine's getting through the system, but it's not. So critters are in there, and me not being the bestest person in the world on the old microscope.
Yeah, you and a few others, me included.
I can just about use a mobile phone, Kev, so you fucking imagine what I'm like around that microscope. I'm not an IT wizard by any means, and I struggle with that microscope. I can see flukes. Well, I'll tell you what, Gatwick came down and he was giving it large, as he does. I love him. I went, Gal, get on that microscope of mine, and he even went, poxy microscope, it's no good at all. He used his old-fashioned one. It's fantastic. That bloody modern thing in there.
Right, yeah. Oh, well, thanks for that, Roy.
Happy days.
Yeah, good.
Cheers, Kev.
Roy, I've got to say, that's probably the best Goromo show I've seen outside of the All Japan show.
Oh, you're going to cheer old Gatwick up.
And it's an unusual variety. You don't see many of them.
No, you don't.
That is a rare item.
It is. The old Goromo side of it's coming out lovely.
Is there a category at the show for the most unusual koi or rare koi?
I hope so.
If there is, you want to take that, because I reckon that'd clean up.
I think you're right, Kev.
Yeah, that's one hell of a fish, that.
The old Gatwick will be running naked around the place.
Very desirable. Very desirable Goromo shows, and I could count on one hand the amount of good ones I've seen in Japan, and that's probably better than any of them. So yeah, well done, boy.
Oh, well done, Kev. You've cheered me up.
Yeah. Very rare items, that, boys. Cast your eyes on that. Goromo show, you won't see many of them. And there's a lot of hobbyists that would look in their pond and not even know that's a Goromo show. Right. They'd just think it's a show with smudgy sumi. No,
up to about an hour ago, Kev, it might have been me.
Oh, no, we'll edit that bit out, right? Yeah, superb Goromo shower. So there's Gav's speckled growing show. That's about what?
3 centimetres.
15 centimetres, is it?
15 or 18.
Yeah, 15 or 18 centimetres. No pressure, Gav. Yeah.
So what's the challenge with these ones?
Keep it alive.
So yeah.
So we're not sure if it's a Tancho show or a Tancho Saintly.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. But I suppose we will see.
Yeah.
I think it's Tancho Saintly.
Yes, I spent the last half hour down at the barn after the voice. Gavin picking up that Becky for Haku. Just have looking at some of these fish we'd have seen actually in Japan back in early Feb. Still at the barn.